Hello and welcome back to BS Rugby, and that's right, the opening weekend of the United Rugby Championship has just finished, and what a weekend of rugby we had. I hope you enjoyed it. Here is my review, and we're going to look back at all the games and have a quick chat about them. As always, if you're new here, hit the subscribe button down below. It's free to do and helps grow the channel. Leave a like on the video and get your thoughts in the comments down below. So let's get straight into it. Let's go through the games as they happened. First up, we saw Zebre taking on the Lions, and the Lions running our winners in this one, 38 points to 26. And the Lions took a really big lead in this one and were comfortably leading at half time. In fact, leading 35 points to nil after some really good work from the Lions players. Tries coming from Ulengo, Odendal, Maxwane got 2, and Visage all got tries in that first half. But Zebre did come back into it. They got tries of their own, the likes of Kavlo Kana, but it wasn't quite enough to get back into the game fully. The Lions a really good start. They didn't win any games in Rainbow Cup South Africa, neither did Zebre in the Rainbow Cup. So we finally have a winner for these two teams. So the Lions take the first win of the United Rugby Championships. Can they crack on next week? So let's move on to arguably one of the games of the weekend, as Glasgow travelled over to face Ulster in the King's Pan. And what a game it was. The build-up, the excitement for it was certainly there, and we were not disappointed. Ulster did have the edge at the beginning of the game as they took the lead through a penalty try after Forbes was deemed to have done a deliberate knock-on, and absolutely correct from the ref Ben Whitehouse. But it was actually Glasgow who responded strong as Horn, the scrum half, scored a fantastic counter-attacking try to really help Glasgow settle into the game and quieten the crowd that little bit. But it was Ulster who got a try just before the end of the half. After great work from the driving maul, it was a fantastic try scored by Johnny Matthews, who crashed over from close range while the clock was red to get the game to 14-15 in favour of Glasgow. So very tight at half time. But in the second half, Ulster came out flying 2 tries in quick succession, gave them the bonus points and a 13-point lead through Moore and Timoney. A brilliant try from Timoney, and he's really shining as an 8, isn't he, for Ulster. Doak added a try of his own later on into the game to kind of close the game out. But in the end, Glasgow did get a try back. But you've got to be totally honest, I think Ulster deserved to win this one, and they were really impressive. Both defences a little bit on the leaky side, but we had some fantastic attacking rugby, and it really was worth the watch. If we quickly have a look at the stats, it's interesting to read the stats. As you can see here, Glasgow actually had the better of it in attacking sense. They played with more possession, more defenders beaten. They were offloading quite a bit as well, so they will be disappointed that they didn't get a win in this one, but a great game and a great advert for the competition early on. Let's move on then to the next Friday night game, which saw Cardiff Rugby, the newly rebranded Cardiff Rugby, taking on Connacht. And I've got to say, I was very, very impressed by Cardiff. Amos got the opening try after good pressure from the forwards, and he just crashed over. Very simple for him. But Connacht would get revenge in a sense, and they would get their own try. Brilliant break from Connor, the number 7. And it was, in fact, Marmion who crashed through unopposed and went through and scored and brought the game back level. And in fact, Connacht actually took the lead after this with a brilliant penalty from Carty. But it was, in fact, Willis Halaholo who would get the next try for Cardiff Rugby, as Thomas Williams came off the back of an attacking scrum. And really, once again, unopposed defences this weekend were not on point, but Willis Halaholo crashing through to score for Cardiff Rugby. Cardiff Rugby would add a couple of more tries through Belcher. Once again, really, a lot of tries this weekend were from like 5 metres out, teams crashing over, going through the driving maul. And by this point, it really was game over, as the likes of Owen Lane also crossed for 2 tries of his own. A really good performance from him. Game will be marred though for Cardiff Rugby with 2 injuries, 2 concerning injuries. First of all, Jared Evans went on for the player we're going to talk about in a second. He came on for an injured player, and he actually left the field, and it seems he may have broken his ribs or something like that. It looks like quite a concerning injury, and the reason he had to come on was for this man, Rhys Priestland, who was making his debut, his competitive debut for Cardiff, and had to go off for a HIA, and he didn't pass that HIA clearly, and so he had to leave the field. Now, there's been no updates on both of them. We're waiting to hear, and hopefully both of them are okay, but it's not only a concern for Cardiff, it's a concern for Wales as well, as Jared Evans is extremely talented, and maybe Priestland, with all the injuries Wales have had, would have been a very good option to have indeed for Wayne Pivac. But Cardiff Rugby there running out 33 points to 21 winners at the Cardiff Arms Park. Let's move on then to the Saturday games. First of all, we had Benetton hosting Stormers. Now, this was a really interesting game, and in fact, Stormers were 18 points to 7 in the lead at half time, an 11-point lead in this one. Pretorius and Nell had both scored for the away side, but they threw that lead away as Benetton ran out winners 22 points to 18. Even Nemia got a try as well, and penalty from Albanos made it 17 points to 18 at the end, so it was very, very close. Then Tommaso Monticello scored a try right at the end, 10 minutes from time, to win the game for Benetton. There were ecstatic scenes at the end as the champions of the inaugural Rainbow Cup were crowned winners in this one. And for Stormers, it'll be a big concern that they couldn't hold on until the end, maybe fitness issues, maybe complacency potentially. But credit to Benetton, who really fought hard and deserved to get the result in the end. From one close game to a not so close game, Leinster, yes, I'm wearing the shirt in honour of them today, absolutely smashing the Blue Bulls, 31 points to 3, and it really is normality for Leinster at this point, isn't it? They are absolutely incredible. Tries from Porter, Trey and Byrne, and an incredible solo try from this man, Josh van der Fleer. Really just, they dominated this game. They were so good. Although the Bulls did have a little bit of possession, they really didn't create anything with it. And by the end, they completely ran out of steam. Something that maybe the South African teams have seen a little bit of in these opening few weeks. But the big problem for the Bulls was their defence, as you can see, obviously from the scoreline. But at the breakdown, conceding too many turnovers, conceding 7 turnovers, missing 28 tackles, which gave them only a success rate of 78%. If you compare that to the 90% of Leinster, it's really just not good enough, and you're not going to win games of rugby like that. But for Leinster, normality resumes once again. Brilliant performance from them. Johnny Sexton getting a good run out as well. I think, you know, the summer would have made a big difference for him. There was an injury concern for him, but he ran it off and he looked pretty okay. But Leinster winning that one extremely comfortably, 31 points to 3. The next game, we headed up to Scotland, to the brand new stadium up in Scotland, the Edinburgh Rugby Ground, as Edinburgh ran out winners in this one, 26 points to 22 against Scarlets. A brilliant performance from the home side, but a lot of mistakes from the away side. Scarlets fans would be extremely frustrated, and Dwayne Peel, the new head coach, would be frustrated as well. Edinburgh started the best. Blair Kinghorn got a brilliant try, and then this man, Darcy Graham, got a brace on the day. He was electrifying, but he wasn't the main man for me. We'll get to him in just a second. In fact, though, Scarlets did respond pretty well. Steph Evans got a try, got one ruled out as well where he was put to touch, but this is one of them that he did get a brilliant finish in the corner there to give them the lead. But it just wasn't good enough from the Scarlets. Lots of little mistakes, a lot of knock-ons, mistakes of the breakdown, not real good communication between the players, it seems. And so there'll be a lot to work on in the week for the Scarlets as they look to bounce back next weekend. But we've got to talk about 2 players from each side who stood out. And for me, the first man for Edinburgh is this man, Ben Vellacott. What a performance, an absolute live wire at scrum half. His debut for the team today, 76 meters ran, and he was always looking to take that quick penalty, quick tap and go, and he'd always get the Scarlets defence backpedaling. He was really instrumental to pushing the rhythm and to getting the team playing well. For Scarlets, once again, it's this man, Sione Kalamafoni, absolute warrior, absolute tank. He was a shining light for Scarlets. 3 offloads, so most in the game, and 7 successful carries, which is the second most in the game between both sides. He was really instrumental in trying to get the Scarlets to get on the front foot, but then the simple mistakes, the knock-ons and all that really did hurt them and really did affect them. Final game then of the Saturday saw Munster beat the Chelsea Sharks, 42 points to 17. A very comfortable victory, if we're being totally honest. The scoreline probably is a little bit kind towards the Sharks. Munster dominated it, completely dominated it, and it was the perfect return for this man, Simon Zebre, who crossed after only 5 minutes running from his own half after the ball bounced into his hand. He ran straight through, and it was a very, very simple finish for him. And Munster just kept putting on the pressure, and at half-time it was actually 20 points to 3. So basically game over, with the likes of Craig Casey and Gavin Coombs both crossing in that first half. Gavin Coombs would add his second 10 minutes into the second half to make it a little bit more comfortable. The Sharks did respond with 2 tries of their own, but unfortunately it was not enough. And again, they seemed to run out of steam at the end as Simon Zebre got his second of the evening at Thomond Park. And what an atmosphere that seemed to be. Craig Casey did get man of the match, and he was absolutely electric throughout the game, really setting the tempo, getting the team playing on the front foot. It was a very, very impressive performance from Munster. Munster running out 42 points to 17 winners. It looks like they're going to be up there challenging once again. And so the final game of the weekend was a Welsh derby. Ospreys travelling to Rodney Parade to face the Dragons, and it finished a very close game and 2 very contrasting halves. The Ospreys won this one 27 points to 23, but the Dragons started best as Sam Davis's grubber kick was gathered by Josh Lewis, who scored in the corner, and things got even worse for the Ospreys as Owen Watkin was sent to the sin bin for a dangerous removal of a player at the ruck. But the Dragons couldn't really capitalise on that in truth, and in fact it was the Ospreys who got the next try. Mike Collins, on his debuts for the Ospreys, the Kiwi-born who is Welsh qualified, managed to get on the score sheet not once but twice today and got man of the match. Both sides traded some penalties, but the Ospreys, given so many penalties away, the breakdown in that first half. But in the second half, it was the Ospreys who came out strongest, looking really strong, creating plenty of opportunities, and Gareth Anscombe and Rhys Webb were really running the show at this point. And Mike Collins, as I did say, would get his second try, probably the pick of the bunch, coming on a brilliant angle off the pass of Rhys Webb and crossing over before Luke Morgan at the end, after some brilliant work from Gareth Anscombe, rounded up the game. The Dragons did get a try right at the end, but it wasn't enough. Hodrie Williams did cross, a really good option for him at the breakdown. He sniped around the side of that ruck beautifully, but it wasn't enough for them. So the Ospreys take the bragging rights, take the points in this game. The Dragons, of course, will get that losing bonus points due to them losing by less than 7 points. Before we get on to the fixtures, let's take a look at some of the predictions you guys put out. A few of you decided to comment and put your predictions out. Make sure Thursday night my video will be out with my predictions, so get your predictions in then for your chance to feature next week. Canna Quainan, you had a great week, my friend. You predicted that the Lions, Cardiff, Ulster, Benetton, Leinster, Munster and Ospreys would all win, and they all won, so congratulations to you, well done. You are the predictions king, let's say. Sean predicted a few interesting ones, didn't quite get the Zebre one right, neither did he get the Connacht one. He did predict Ulster to win, he predicted Benetton to win, predicted Edinburgh to win, Leinster to win, Munster to win, and he predicted a draw between the Ospreys and Dragons. Well, he was wrong on the Ospreys one, but did pretty well there. And then Unbiased Rugby, brilliant channel, do check him out. He wanted the Bulls to win, but unfortunately they couldn't do it. So make sure to get your predictions in if you want to feature on the next video. Let's finish then by having a look at the fixtures that are coming up over the next week or so. Kicking off on the Friday night, we have 2 games on Friday night. We have Connacht, who host the Bulls at the Sports Ground. That is a kickoff at 25-8 local time. The Scarlets then host the Emirates Lions. That's at, once again, 25-8 down at Parc Scarlets. On the Saturday, we have 4 games. Benetton host Edinburgh in the early kickoff at 1 o'clock. While at 3 o'clock, Glasgow Warriors host the South Sea Sharks. Glasgow, of course, will be looking for their first win alongside the Sharks. Zebre against Ulster out in Italy, while Munster host the Stormers, and Ospreys have another derby. We may do a watch along for this one. Ospreys against Cardiff Rugby down the Liberty. Both teams have won on opening weekend, so it's going to be intriguing to see how they go. Then on the Sunday, we have one final game, which is Dragons hosting Leinster. Leinster, of course, getting that fantastic result against the Bulls. The Dragons will be looking to bounce back from defeat against the Ospreys. But there we go. That's the review of the opening weekend of the United Rugby Championship. I hope you have enjoyed. Make sure, as I said before, get your predictions in on Thursday, because that's when the video will go out. And of course, make sure to subscribe if you've enjoyed. Leave a like on the video. And let me know in the comments down below your thoughts on your team's performance this week. Where do you need to improve? What did you do well? Let me know in the comments down below. I'll be interacting with you there. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for the support on the channel. I'll see you soon. Peace.